Hub Radio Phoenix is an internet-based podcast platform providing numerous special interest programs reaching over 100,000 viewers per week. Hi, I'm Ron Ludders, executive producer of Hub Radio Phoenix. We don't pretend to be journalists, but we're not afraid to say what's on our minds. We thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to Hub Radio Phoenix. Stay tuned, stay faithful, as the best is yet to come.
You're watching Backstreet Gossip, news talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Ron Ludders. Now, let's return to the show.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are still here with Peter Martin.
Yes.
And we're
giving
just
us his wisdom.
We are using his wisdom, and we're counting our dollar bills to make sure we're safe.
That's right. I was going to write him a check, just post-date it.
Oh, okay. Right. Sounds good. And, of course, we have Mr. Ray Michaels.
Hello, everyone.
Still here. And for those of you that saw this last segment, please, if you have any questions, you can get a hold of Peter Martin one more time, Peter.
MartinFinancialSolutions.com. There's a tab there where you can just submit an inquiry, say hello. I'm happy to hear from any of our listeners.
Do you have your picture on it?
I don't think there is.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you recognize
it. At any rate, if you have any other questions, please get a hold of us at Hub Radio Phoenix. We happen to have on the line one of our favorite guys. I mean, every time I say his name, my mouth waters.
It does.
And that's Mr. Pasta from the Convo Couch in California. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Uncle Ron, Cousin Ray, how you doing? I miss you guys.
Yes, we do. How are you? How's the crew?
The crew is great, man. You know, they just said they said to say hi. We do miss you guys. We got to get our butts out to Arizona over there. I mean, there's so many people I love and respect out there, and I always love coming on your show and talking to my favorite conservatives. So thank you for having us on.
I'll tell you what. You know, we had a conversation with Senator Wendy Rogers. She said that we may be looking towards the end of this week for some information from Arizona and America's Audit.
Yeah, I watched your guys' last show. The great work that Liz Harris has done. I saw Mr. Bernstein on with you guys. I've been keeping my ears open and my eyes open as well to find out what comes of this whole Arizona audit thing. Well, it's hard being one of the defenders on the left of audits, but we're here for election integrity because it's a nonpartisan issue.
It certainly is, and we're hoping, that out of this comes some good news in terms of the future of the integrity of our processes, and so anyway, Pasta, you guys have kind of the whole nation's eyes are on California tomorrow as you have your recall election for Governor Newsom. As you and I talked earlier today, you had a list of 10 items. Would you like to discuss that with us?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I started doing the segment the night before, we had talked about it on Friday. I said, Monday, let's do the top 10 reasons to vote yes on the recall to boot Gavin Newsom's butt out of there. And I thought at first, I'm like, this might be a little bit of a problem. I don't know if I'll come up with 10 reasons. Well, it turns out I came up with like 14, 15 reasons, and I had to remove some. That's how bad Gavin Newsom is for the state of California, or for any state for that matter. And we named some serious reasons. And I'm going to just go ahead and tell you my number one reason is the homeless issue over here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, guys, but we have 20% of the homeless population is in California.
Yes, we have a good friend, Ted Hayes. I don't know if you know Ted.
And you talked to me about Ted.
Yeah, we have Ted on here every so often talking about the California homeless crisis.
It's terrible. It's just disgusting. And, when a lot of conservatives get on TV, when Donald Trump got on TV and said, look at all the states that are doing awful. They're all democratically run. It's hard to argue that fact when you could just drive outside your house, go 10 minutes, and you're going to run into homeless encampments all over there. And you feel so sad and awful for these people because you have a legislative body that's completely super majority Democratic, including the governor, and they have done nothing to help the problem. In fact, they made it worse.
Well, Pasta, Larry Elder, who's running there, and he's probably the top contender on the Republican ticket, but he said that when Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco, that he promised that he would take care of that as he was running the first time for the mayor's position. Not only did he not do that, but as governor, he hasn't done anything again with the homeless situation.
No, he is not, Cousin Ray, and it's just crazy. I mean, at this point, we're election integrity activists, right? All of us are now because of what happened in this last election. But I've been following California elections for years, and I still can't answer anybody when they say, "How does Gavin Newsom keep winning elections? How is he still in office?" Well, I mean, I would point to our election system, number one. That's just awful. But, to tell you the truth, we're in the midst of some serious psychological warfare. And I can't understand how these progressives, these leftists, are actually defending Gavin Newsom. And they're actually fighting for incremental losses, not incremental gains. In other words, their reason for voting for him are saying, well, he might not have given us anything, or he might not have helped any of the problems, but he'll be better than the Republican that will come in here. I don't know how they come to this conclusion, but they do.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the other reasons why the Californians should vote for impeachment, and then once that goes through, obviously, then vote for whomever?
For recall.
For recall. Well, impeachment, recall, same thing. They want to boot his ass out of there and get it out of there. Well, another great reason is the forest fire situation, right?
Oh.
Dr. Gavin Newsom over here, as I like to compare him to Ronald McDonald sometimes because he's such a clown, he actually lied to the public about data on set burns, like strategic burns within the forest, that they would go to these areas and they would kind of burn them, so therefore they can't act as a match and get caught on fire. Well, it turns out he lied about 960% of the data in which he said that he had taken care of. It turns out he was supposed to cover almost 100,000 acres, and he ended up covering 12,000 acres. And he took that money and he deinvested it and he put it somewhere else. So where he put it, we don't know. But that's another reason. He lied about that data. And we've had the second worst season of fires in California ever. And Gavin Newsom is caught holding the torch. Another reason, the EDD money. The EDD money has never been allocated from D.C. And the EDD situation here, which is the unemployment line, is just awful. They're actually, every single month that goes by, they're answering less and less phone calls. And you've got poor people who are told to stay at home in California, especially Los Angeles, told not to go to work to protect themselves and their family, just dying and suffering and waiting for that money. And Gavin Newsom hasn't done anything. He hasn't talked to his friend Kamala, who happens to be the vice president. He hasn't talked to his aunt, Nancy Pelosi, who's just his aunt by marriage, but still. He hasn't talked to any of them. And now we got $9 billion sitting in a vault in D.C. that hasn't been allocated for unemployment that the people desperately need. They need help fixing the situations, updating the computers. That's what all that money's supposed to be used for. And it's just sitting there, boys. And Gavin Newsom hasn't said anything about it.
Now, just recently, didn't he come out and say that he wants to allocate millions and millions of dollars for the Afghan refugees to come into the state of California?
Well, I mean, he's not going to have that ultimate decision at the very end. That's just virtue signaling to the progressive base that they have out here that really don't care about policy. They only care about rhetoric. So even though that Gavin Newsom really doesn't have a say in what could happen, in other words, he can get money allocated from the federal government and then kind of disperse it to Afghan refugees. But that decision is not going to come down to him. But that really, in a nutshell, Cousin Ray, tells you about the politics of California. They don't look at policy. They don't look at results. They don't look at actual fiscal policy as well. All they care about is virtue signaling, that these guys go on there and they tell them that they care for them and that they are the party of the working class. God forbid they get any results to prove their point. But, I mean, that in a nutshell is California politics. So, yeah.
Wow. Now, Ron, Pasta and his whole crew over there are just fantastic. And we met them through the
John Brakey.
Through John Brakey, who is also very much a progressive. And we've been working together because this audit is so important, not only for for Republicans, but for Democrats, for independents, for everybody. So the top contender right now for California is Larry Elder. And I just want to get your overall view, you and the Convo Couch's your ideas and your opinions of Larry Elder and how and what he would do to improve California.
Well, you know what? The thing that we talk about when it comes to Larry Elder, because, you know, we have to meet them on the battlefield, right? The voters. And the voters are like, hey, you know, if Larry gets in, he'll be awful. Now, I really haven't paid a lot of attention to Larry Elder for a long time. You know what I'm saying? He was never really my cup of tea. I don't hate on the guy whatsoever. But what we say is that you can't be fearful of Larry Elder, right? You got to see what's going on. And you have a supermajority of Democrats that run this country. So how much damage can a Larry Elder do, right? You know, to the mindset of like, oh, you know, we can't let the Republican get in. But really, how much damage can he do? Well, the one thing he can do, and then this is something I'm excited if he does get in, is if he, and this is the people we talk to, he will not mandate vaccines. Gavin Newsom isn't open about mandating vaccines, right? You know, and that's something that I don't want to see happen. I don't want any mandate of vaccines whatsoever. So Larry Elder has said he is not going to have a mask mandate. He's not going to have a vaccine mandate. And that's a very touchy subject right now. People are leaving this city in droves, a lot of them because they don't want to have a passport to go into a restaurant or a bar or something else. And that's what California is looking at. Unfortunately, it's one of two extremes, I guess you could say, either someone who's going to be pro-vaccine mandate or someone who's not going to be, pro-vaccine mandate, which is what Elder is doing. And I commend him for that. So, I mean, that is a big issue that we do talk about. So that is something that would look different if Larry Elder crosses the finish line.
And our governor has done the same thing, said, you know, we're not going to mandate this. So, and you know, America is a land of choice. And, it bothers me when I hear people talk about my body, my choice when it comes to pregnancies. But when it comes to vaccines, all of a sudden, well, you've got to have a vaccine. And, of course, the weird thing about this is if, in fact, a person has a vaccine and it's supposed to work, and if a person is social distancing, and if a person is wearing, as Fauci says, at least 2 masks, how is it that somebody that is not vaccinated is giving them COVID? I cannot, in my deepest
well, you know, President Biden said we have to protect the vaccinated. And
I know,
Pasta,
it's a joke.
you heard that, didn't
joke.
you?
Yeah.
We have to
Guys,
protect the vaccinated.
It's just beyond ridiculous. And that's another thing. In California, we have these progressives, right? Like, you know, I've told you guys, you know, I no longer support Bernie Sanders, but I did start with the Bernie Sanders movement. And
We'll forgive you, Pasta. We will forgive you.
Well, I'm not crazy about Tulsi's comments she made the other day on September 11th too. So it's like I feel like I'm out in the cold right now. But beside the point, when it came to 2015, 2016, we were in the streets, and the number one push, the biggest issue by my fellow comrades at the time, as we like to call each other, was Medicare for all. And our number one enemy was Big Pharma and these lobbyists. Well, who do you think you're listening to when these recommendations are made for these experimental vaccines that are out there? You're listening now to Big Pharma, the CDC, these crooks, what they've done. I mean, you know what I'm saying? All these people that Johnson & Johnson has killed by putting asbestos in their talcum powder and giving people mesothelioma in Africa. The same thing with Pfizer, who got caught $2.3 billion settlement, Cousin Ray, for lying and manipulating data. And now you want to take their word on it? We live in a cartoon, and everything in California is turned upside down on its head.
Well, that's true.
Crazy.
That's true. Most of us here in Arizona, when we talk about putting up a border fence, we don't mean with Mexico. We mean with California.
I always thought that when Bernie Sanders was out and about and speaking, I thought that he was Larry David.
No, he did. He looked a lot like Larry David. You want to hear something really quickly too, and before I know you go to commercial break, but this is something like another area of concern. So now, Gavin Newsom took almost $1 billion. It was $990 million, and he used it to purchase masks from a Chinese company, right?
Yes.
So now you can imagine the red meat from the conservatives going crazy about talking about, see, he's bought off by the Chinese, and then the left is like, how could you say that? That's so damn racist. We need those masks. And you got independents in the state like myself, like, wait a second. You have all these homeless people. One of the number one reasons why they don't have a house to live in is because there's no economy here. Why wouldn't you just use that money and put them to work and have them produce masks and for us and help get them off the street? That's the type of fucking insight. I'm so sorry for cursing. That's the type of insight and ideas we need when we're getting out there and trying to tackle this homeless situation. And that's something that Gavin Newsom doesn't care about. And he just threw away that money and he was secretive about it. They had to peel away the onion to find out the truth, and that's what we're facing, and that's why we got to go out tomorrow and vote yes on this recall. I don't care if you vote for a ham sandwich, just vote yes on the recall.
And you know that's the polar opposite between what he's doing, business as usual, and what Larry Elder would do. Because if you listen to him at all, Larry Elder, he's very matter of fact. He takes the statistics. And it's a common sense approach, exactly what you talked about. We have $900 million. What are we going to do with it? How can we help? How can we put people to work? How can we make it better for our economy and not China's economy? So, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't think we...
and it was like about keeping people safe. How safe are you keeping people when you're allowing them to live on the streets? That is just a ridiculous comment.
Well,
And
flooding everybody in from the border and not, I mean, if this was seriously a medical issue, you would not force the people of the United States to wear these. You would make anybody coming in from a foreign country wear them, because that's where most diseases are coming from. Because, I mean, let's face it, it's not racially motivated at all, but our sanitary conditions in the United States far exceed most third world countries. It's just a fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, Cousin Ray.
Excuse me, Peter had a comment here. He's still on.
Yes, sir. Mr. Martin.
Hey,
sir,
Pasta,
nice to meet
how you doing?
Pleasure, sir.
Yeah, I don't think we had to really peel back the onion all that much with this Gavin Newsom, did we? I mean, last year, this was the guy who was taken a picture of with his 11 friends at the French Laundry, having a nice dinner.
We talked about that.
Nobody wearing a mask, and yet everyone else had to wear one. So this is not really very difficult to peel back the onion on this guy.
It sounds like the elitists we were talking about
It's
earlier.
like the elitists.
And of course, we remember Nancy Pelosi as well with at the beauty parlor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now that's a real task. A beauty parlor
and at a
for
recent
Pelosi.
engagement up there, she just had thousands of dollars fundraising that she was out there.
And Pasta, those of us here in Arizona happen to see, and I'm sure you're aware of this lady with the gorilla costume throwing eggs at.
Throw the egg, yeah.
And
no, we talked about it.
And gorillas don't even lay eggs. I don't get it.
And then even worse, then saying that Larry is a black white supremacist. I mean, how creative can you be here? He's a black white supremacist.
I mean, they start saying, well, he hates his own kind and the bullshit. I mean, how it was a white woman wearing a gorilla mask throwing an egg at a black man running for office. It's kind of everything is turned upside down on its head. But I mean, also what you're talking about, we talked about that little dinner at Napa right after giving the speech. The thing about it is that a lot of people don't realize that Gavin Newsom has been bankrolled by 8 elitist family in California, including the Pritzkers, the Gettys, and the Fishers. And these are guys who have all made a ton of money on oil and real estate. And the oil and real estate lobbies just own California, right? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize that it's a lot of natural gas, which is a lot of fracking, and they keep signing permits and acting like they're all green, which is probably something we would disagree with. Like, I told you guys right away, what makes me a leftist is I would eliminate fracking right away. And the whole thing about it is just be honest about what you're doing. But the fact that they can just lie to your face because they were bankrolled. Gavin Newsom is bankrolled on families that made their fortune. Same with Jerry Brown on oil and real estate. Yeah. And that's why there's a profit incentive to keep the homeless number up in California.
That's exactly what we talked about earlier tonight, Pasta. We started out the show tonight basically talking about how there are wealthy families out there, we call them the globalists, or in some cases the Illuminati, basically using their money to pull the strings of politicians who, unfortunately, most people believe are in charge of everything, but these are really just puppets. Gavin Newsom, he's governor of California, but he's a puppet who's basically acting according to the desires of wealthy families who are telling him what to do. That's exactly right.
Yeah, Congress is nothing more than the PR firms for the oligarchs in big business, big tech, big oil, military-industrial complex. And this is something I told Uncle Ron and Cousin Ray. It spreads on both sides of the aisle. The establishment is the establishment.
Absolutely.
And to think for 1 second that Donald Trump wouldn't have lost this here without the help of the Republican establishment is crazy.
Yeah. You bet.
Oh my God, the Mitch McConnells, the Lindsey Grahams, the establishment, it's like professional wrestling.
But we're running short on time here, Pasta. But give me your predictions for tomorrow.
My predictions is because we've already seen a lot of hanky-panky what's going on. We still have a mass mail-out system over here. And unlike Arizona, which you guys have been doing a great job identifying actual solutions to move forward in Arizona, just like in Georgia. I would say Georgia is the beacon right now. Arizona's second place, but the beacon is over in Georgia, where you got a guy by the name of Garland Favorito from Voter GA.
Yes, we've had him on the show.
Turning the whole freaking state upside down. He's my paisan. Arizona's coming in there in a nice second place in my mind. But both Arizona and Georgia, what they're doing is they're looking for solutions moving forward. I can't wait to support Mark Finchem. He'll be the first Republican I'll ever support. I can't vote for him, but I love the solution.
By the way, President Trump endorsed him today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you know me, I'm not a big Trump guy.
I know.
But
just wanted to tell you.
I take him over.
You're on the same side with Donald Trump.
Yeah. But
All right.
I'm a big Finchem guy. But the prediction is, unfortunately, we don't have our elections in order. There's still it was still a mass mail-out ballot. Mass mail-out for ballots, mail-in ballots. So my prediction is that he's going to just squeak out of the no part and not face recall by a small percentage. And here's the thing. The state has to reimburse him after that happens.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yeah, they have to reimburse him.
Crazy. Always a pleasure. Great to tell everybody at the Combo Couch.
We'll be talking to you soon, Mr. DeSante. We need another quick commercial here.
Just a quick one.
A quick one.
Thank you
Very
so
quick.
much. I love
Pasta,
you guys.
Yeah, love you too.
Okay.
Listen, we'll talk to you after everything goes, and let's hope that the people that are out there voting actually get their votes counted.
They're already getting swamped and taken away. It's crazy. You guys wouldn't believe the stuff we're already seeing.
We're seeing it.
Well, I've been
Crazy.
reading about it, so we're not happy either.
Yeah.
Well, God bless you
They're already
guys.
pushing people to provisionals. And
Thanks
once you
again.
put people to provisionals, it's over.
Yeah.
Talk to
Later,
you soon.
guys.
Take care.
Thanks, Pasta.
You got it, buddy.
Okay, we will be right back after this short announcement.